I prefer to talk about pleasure as opposed to sex, because a lot of people have sex, but not a lot of people have pleasurable sex.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And if the conversation is around, and even again the framing of how we're having these discussions, even if we look at classical Arabic and the way the scholars of the past spoke about sexual pleasure or sex, the words that were used to describe sex, whether it was sailor, meaning honey, whether it's taladud, meaning pleasure, whether it's istimta, meaning enjoyment, these were all like enjoyment, pleasurable words associated with sex.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in English language, it's just very, it's
Cut
like
and dry,
nasty,
very
cut and
one.
dry. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like something that's been done to someone.
Right.
Whereas again, and that's why even obviously we can't change our language. We're all English speakers, but it's reframing how we understand it, because
Finessing the word.
finessing it. I love that word, finessing it. I think that's important to finesse it, because I'm always taken aback by, like, again, I understand depending on someone's cultural background and things, and where a number of people feel, especially for Muslim women, that they're not entitled to sexual pleasure, or
Oh, yeah.
when they are just, but again, this our tradition speaks about that very clearly, but maybe you could say the gatekeepers or people who are given that information are only telling women the parts of where they need to fulfill their husband's pleasure, and they're not telling the women about the stories
Or
and
the men.
yeah, and the men. That's what it is. So the same way men, we have got a great sense of pride in terms of being able to be a provider and our financial status. We also have that sense of pride in being able to sexually satisfy our wives. So even
I
with the
love that.
hadith where the
Yeah.
Prophet mentioned, the best of you are those who are best to your wives, and I'm the best of you to best of men to my wives. Scholars have mentioned that refers to intimacy.
Mm.
And if you
Really?
look,
Now that, yeah.
because again,
So,
if you read the classical books, they speak a lot, because, and it's interesting because nowadays, when we oftentimes we speak about marriage, we speak about, or family, we speak about marriage in the context of being parents, but not in the context of being a husband and a loving husband or loving wife to your partner. Whereas
or
in
a
the
lover to
or
to
lover,
your spouse, right? You
exactly.
know. So there was another question that came in. Someone was asking, what is the difference between Kunyaza and Kama Sutra? Or is there a difference?